The NHBC are standing firm, so I'm insisting they carry out a second inspection of Andy's garden. But how can we make them sit up and take notice when so many people have failed?
We hear lots of common complaints about the NHBC. It's very hard to get a hold of them in the first time. It's very hard to get them to come out to inspect. We would always advise consumers to not just call them up, put things down in writing, take photos, collect your evidence and prepare your case.
And that's exactly what I've done. And now that the NHBC have carried out a second inspection, it's time to call Barrett to see if they have the results. I'm hoping they're going to say, ever so sorry Dom, we realise things aren't quite right and we're going to get round there ASAP and put things right. Let's see if that happens.
Is not available. Record your message at the tone.
It's Dominic Littlewood calling from the BBC. I needed to speak to you about Andy Cape's job. I'm going to try your mobile, so if I'm lucky enough to get through, please ignore this call. But if not, if you could call me back, please, and I look forward to speaking to you. Bye-bye. Voicemails, but oh, they do drive me bonkers. I'm not having much luck getting through to Barrett, so I'm going to try the NHBC instead. An inspector from NHBC has gone round to Andy Cape's place now, and he's obviously had a good look, and I think he saw the problem. Even though it wasn't raining when he went round there, I think he realised how bad things were. So I'm going to give him a call now and see if I can find out what his takings on it all was. Okay. Everything could hinge on this phone call.
You're through to the voicemail of Andy Booth, calling investigator for NHBC.
No joy with the NHBC either. Perhaps someone at Barrett Press Office might finally pick up. I have left a message on your landline at work as well, so please ignore whichever one you get second. Right. Okay. I've been unable to get hold of anybody, but I know a report's been done. I know the NHBC have had a look, but I can't confirm that until they ring me back. I'd like to say a rude word right now, but I'm far too polite to do that. So I'm going to say poppycock. I get thousands of emails from you guys every single year, and guess what one of the biggest complaints is about? You got it, cars. Well, used cars to be exact, and I'm not the only one flooded with second-hand car complaints. According to Citizens Advice Bureau, they get more complaints about used cars than any other purchase. They've had almost 70,000 in the past year alone. Now, I can't deal with all the problems individually, but I am determined to tackle the big ones. I've asked Tom Webster from Consumer Magazine What Car his opinion on how used car buyers can avoid getting caught out.
You can save more money if you buy a car privately, but you do get a little bit more protection if you go to an official manufacturer-backed second-hand scheme or something like that. So while you might save a bit of money, got to weigh it up as to whether it's worth the risk.
Used cars are on sale everywhere, from manufacturers' showrooms to the dealer down the road, even on the side of some streets. It's tempting to go for the first car that catches your eye. But before you do, have a listen from those who've learned the hard way. Amy Leonard from Portsmouth has sent us an email. She tells us she's had problems with a Vauxhall she bought since driving it off the forecourt. Amy says that not long after they purchased their Vauxhall, the gearbox went stiff and the built-in sat-nav failed. Then in June of the same year, the car veered off the motorway and just shut down. Finally, in August, the electrics went. She claims the car is now too dangerous to drive.
Well, the first piece of advice for Amy is to make sure it is a good car to buy in the first place. Check everything thoroughly. Make sure it's been serviced, make sure all the history is in place. After that, also have a check through the warranty that the car's coming with. So if you go for an official manufacturer scheme from one of the big manufacturers, then you will get a little bit more cover than you will at a smaller independent one necessarily.
Buying a used car from a dealer may not always have a manufacturer's warranty, but you would still have rights under the Sale of Goods Act. The car must be of satisfactory quality, fit for purpose and as described. The law only allows you a short time to take action if there is a problem. Cars bought from private individuals rarely have a manufacturer's warranty, especially if they're old. That doesn't mean you can't find a really good deal though, you just have to be extra cautious. In Stevenage, Carly Bright bought a second-hand car and signed for it, even though she wasn't happy with the condition. It had scratches down the side, a broken vent, and it was dirty inside and out. Now, she took the car thinking the garage would sort the problems out later, but they didn't.
Above everything, we would say to Carly, do not buy a car that you are not happy with, whether it's dirty, broken, whatever, and certainly don't expect that they're going to come around and fix it for you in the future. You wouldn't buy a broken toaster and expect the shop to fix it for you later. Even if they say they're going to sort it out, do it before you buy it, before you sign anything, and certainly before you drive it away. Far better to buy a car that you're happy with totally, rather than one where you feel you're having to make some sort of compromise.
Dents and scratches on any motor vehicle can be surprisingly expensive to put right, so don't forget about them in your excitement to sign the deal. The same goes for any electrical issues or leaks. Sometimes they're just not worth the trouble. Martin Shepherd from Clitheroe bought a second-hand car, but when he went to sell it on, he found it had a marker against it showing that finance was outstanding. It didn't, and the finance company removed the marker. But Martin had paid for adverts and lost potential sales.
There's one very simple piece of advice we give Martin and anyone buying a second-hand car for that matter, and that is to get a background check on the car that you're looking at buying. They only cost a couple of pounds, but in the grand scheme of things, when you're buying a car, it's really not much, and that will tell you whether it's been written off, whether there's any outstanding finance on it, whether it's even had its colour changed in the past, so it is well worth it.
If you buy a car that still has finance outstanding on it, the loan company could possibly reclaim it, as technically they still own all or part of the car. So the HPI car check is 20 quid that could save you loads of money and heartbreak in the long run. You can also find out more about the car's MOT history by entering its registration and V5C document numbers into the government website, direct.gov.uk. You'll find out whether the car's passed or failed its MOT and also whether the tester advised of any issues. If you don't know what you're looking for, buying a second-hand car can be a minefield, can't it, Macaulay?
Yeah, you're not wrong there, Dom.
So here's an expert's opinion on what to look out for.
If I was going to give you 3 top tips for buying a used car, it would be check the history, make sure there's no outstanding finance, make sure it's not been written off or anything like that. Check it mechanically, either get a friend to check it over or get an expert in to do so. And finally, do not hand over any money for a car that you're not happy with.
Always insist on a long test drive and don't buy if it's refused, because that's when any of the hidden problems might show up. I'm in Lancashire, where it's raining, which isn't helping Andy's waterlogged garden, but I'm hoping to brighten things up. So I've gone back to Barrett, and it's been virtually impossible to speak to somebody on the phone. Had a few email correspondence with them. Wasn't really getting anywhere though. So I went back to the NHBC and said, come on guys, there's obviously a problem here. It's been going on for a long, long while. What are you going to do about it? And credit where it's due, the NHBC said, we'll go round and we'll do a second survey. And they have, and I'm here now to give Andy the results. When the NHBC first came out to inspect Andy's garden for waterlogging in May 2013, it was a bright summer's day, and not surprisingly, there was barely a drop of water in sight. And as the damp areas fell outside of the 3 metres, Barrett were not required to fix it. So we resubmitted his case to the NHBC, and now it's the moment of truth. Oh, Andy.
All right, Dom.
Got some news for you, mate.
Okay, thanks very much.
Right. First off, as far as Barrett were concerned, got fobbed off. Got a couple of emails back. But they don't seem to be acknowledging the fact that this is their problem. I've got to give credit where it's due, and the NHBC have responded to us. Now, as you know, the NHBC have come around, they've now done a second report, haven't they? You tell me what you think of this. You will see from my report that I found evidence that our technical requirements have not been complied with and have therefore instructed Barrett Manchester to take some action. So they are saying now they told Barrett to sort things out.
I'm very pleased that I've actually got somewhere and something might actually be done about the waterlogging situations.
And it's what you should have had right from the start.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it says they will fit a mechanism for providing drainage to the area immediately behind and within 3 metres of the rear of your home. We will provide a French drain in this area to seek to alleviate any problems with water percolating from adjoining gardens. Your problem's going to be sorted out. They're going to be a thing of the past. That's the good news now, because they said they're going to do it. They put it in writing. You've got NHBC now backing you. So once that's done, once they put their bits in, keep an eye on it. If it comes back, get onto the NHBC, get back onto me, and we'll rekindle the whole fire again, and we'll just start right back from scratch.
Okay, brilliant.
One thing that has happened as a result of this report is a precedent has been set now. Barratt Homes are sorting out a problem. If your neighbours end up with the same situation and they don't sort out their problems, get them on the phone to the NHBC, get them to start sending emails in and get them to start moaning and groaning about their problems, because the squeaky wheel always gets the oil. Yeah. But okay, mate, so you're happy at this point?
Yes, thank you very much.
Brilliant.
Appreciate all your help and your assistance to your team.
Cheers, Andy.
Great, Tom, thanks very much.
Barratt have since written to Andy saying they will carry out the work recommended by the NHBC, but the French drain will be done as a gesture of goodwill. Barratt have told us, we aim to provide the highest standard of service. In Mr Cape's case, we have not achieved this and would like to apologise. Drainage work began in Mr Cape's garden on the 3rd of March, but they say they do not install land drains as standard. When I first got here, I remember saying I was a bit surprised this case had got to me. I can say now, with hindsight, I'm actually not surprised at all. I have sorted out the problem. Andy is eventually going to get his garden sorted out, so him and little Joshua will be able to play in it this time next summer. But of course, as far as Barratt are concerned, they're doing that as a gesture of goodwill, not because it's what he was entitled to right from the start when he bought a brand new home. Oh no. The customer's king, you should remember that. Andy's looking forward to having a dry garden this year and to put up Josh's long overdue swing. I've also had a bit of good news for Andy's neighbour Kate. She's been on to the NHBC and they are coming to inspect her garden soon to see if, like Andy, she's entitled to new drainage.
We're just looking forward now to sit out in the garden and enjoy it and get it planted up and get the patio in and get the borders in and just generally enjoy it and get a swing in for Josh and a slide in for Josh so he can play with his chums and have some fun, can't we? And a sandpit too as well, forgot about the sandpit.